We just start off with team news first of all for the game.
Team news in terms of just general wear and tear and a little bit tired bodies. We're pretty good, to be fair. There is no real issues injury-wise. We are where we are.
And I see you're actually at the training ground, so you're available for this game and to go to it.
Yeah, also. Back in, obviously I had to self-isolate for 10 days. So obviously I've done that and got a negative result again 2 days ago. So yeah, I'm back in with the team and pleased about that really. Because difficult time obviously in this current climate, but pleased to be back now and preparing for what's a big game on Wednesday against Spurs.
Could you tell us what the biggest single challenge was, being away from the training ground, being away from the game? And was there any positive that you could take from not being around?
It's like anything, just being around the place, bringing personality, seeing people in the flesh is always much more better. You get a real understanding. Certainly someone in my position, obviously you see things much clearer. So look, we've prepared and we've planned for the scenario what happened. So we had everything in place to form, to know that if it was going to happen in this current climate, we are living in unpredictable times. So we knew that what measures we needed to take, and we took them, and they worked very, very well. Zoom, constant dialogue with the team, constant dialogue in preparation for training and leading into the game as well. So it worked. It worked very well, as best as it could. Of course, not ideal, but we're not living in ideal situations, and we're not doing our job at times in ideal situations. But that's what we're in.
You mentioned not an ideal situation. It's quite a worrying time for the country as a whole just now. We saw the postponement of the Everton-Manchester City game last night. Is there any part of you that's worried, fearful, concerned about whether this season can actually be completed?
I think we've all come to realise and we all come to learn that looking too far ahead or working out whether something's going to happen or whether it ain't, we've worked out that normally things change on a daily, weekly basis. So I don't know whether that is the case. What I do know is that the Premier League and us as a football club have things in place, have great protocols. It is a very safe environment. So in terms of that, I don't feel in any way on edge or nervous. But I can't answer your question on whether the league's going to end or whether it's speculation, which is there's a million speculations. You read a million people pumping out numbers every day. This is what's going to happen in a week's time. This is how many people are going to be in a month's time. I think I've come to realise just living the world for what it is at this present moment in time. That's all I can control and focus on, and that's what we'll do.
It is a hectic schedule already, and I mean, just looking at that one postponement on its own, it's not just Manchester City. It potentially other clubs are affected as well, and it can only make that schedule for City and other clubs potentially even more demanding. Is there a possibility then, with that in mind, that some clubs may have a competitive advantage or any kind of advantage compared to others who won't have such a hectic schedule running into the end of the season?
Yeah, maybe. But that was the same as last year, really. I think in terms of, and I think that's the way it's going to be. I think we're not living, like I said, we're not living in an ideal world, and we're carrying on football. It's safe. People want to be part of it. We want to see football, and at this moment in time, if that's the way it is, I think we've all got to come to realise that in certain situations are not ideal, and they're not. And at that point, you need to work out whether how much of a disadvantage that's going to be to one club, whether integrity comes involved of the game or of the league or whether that is. And I think probably when it gets to that point, I'm sure that there'll be a stronger voice or a stronger concern. At this moment, it is what it is for me at this moment. Not ideal, of course not, but this is the way it was last year as well after lockdown. A lot of games, different scenarios, people not being available due to COVID, people being available, some squads stronger than others. But we've decided we're cracking on, and at this moment it's worked all right. Whether that changes, who knows?
Last couple for me, Scott. It's Tottenham next. And Jose Mourinho has said that Fulham are now playing in a different way. And I quote him, he says, "You've forgotten about some of the principles you believed in." What do you say to that?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Forgot about the principles. I think the principles are still there, to be honest with you. We've come out of a run of games which have been incredibly tough against teams that maybe our principles, or certainly my principles and my team, are not going to be as evident in them games because of the quality of opposition we've come up against. But still see a team that is front foot. I see a team at times aggressive, and that's what I want my teams to be. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably games and the game in terms of the quality of opposition we've played have changed that a little bit. The dynamics of the team have changed in terms of personnel and how we look and how I want us to look. So, but I think the actual core and the real principles of our game, no, I don't think it's changed. It's like anything. You have to change certain principles as a manager and as a team for certain situations and certain teams you're up against. So yeah, that's where I see it.
Just finally for me, Scott, Jose was actually in charge at Chelsea when you were sold from Chelsea. Does that give you any kind of extra motivation when you're now a manager and you're up against Jose Mourinho as a manager?
No, not really, not at all. I spent a short time with Jose, and yeah, he's a fantastic coach when he came into Chelsea. So yeah, no, not all. There's nothing to do with that. I see Jose like I see every other manager I'm up against or my team are up against, and the most important thing is us as a team can go to Spurs tomorrow and cause them problems and try and put a stamp on the game. And me having any trying to get back at Jose or have no, not all.
Thank you. Good luck.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks, Dharmesh. James Burford, Premier League Productions, please.
Hi there, Scott. Nice to see you. How are you finding the balancing act right now? Because at this stage of the season, is it as much an art of organisation and recovery, I suppose, as it is about training and games?
Yeah, it is. It's a real balancing act, to be honest with you, in terms of exactly what you suggest there. A lot of games come in thick and fast, and that real balancing act in terms of trying to get some good work in, as in tactical work, without going over the top too much, because you don't want to leave anything on players then what have got games to play. So it's tough, but it's what we're used to. Is this schedule what we've come into is certainly I don't see it any different to any other year that I was playing, or certainly as I was coaching. So yeah, it's just working out exactly what you're suggesting there, really.
You've spoken quite a bit about the defence lately and how much it's improved. I suppose, having a settled back four with players that are understanding each other's games, how hard have you had to work on that behind the scenes?
Yeah, we've worked really hard, and the players first and foremost deserve massive amount of credit, not just the ones you're seeing playing at this present moment in time. Them ones what are playing have got the shirt and they've done very, very well, but it's a whole unit, it's a whole group. There's a lot of work that goes into this defence, a lot of detailed work, and you need players who are very receptive and want to get better and want to learn and want to work hard. And you also need a squad of players who maybe are not playing, to keep pushing and keep challenging that group what at the moment have the shirt, really. So yeah, look, there's been a lot of work, and it's good to see that obviously that's paid off. It's still a tough league, and I'm sure along the way there'll be some slight hiccups, but I feel that the team have done very, very well. Certainly the defence in the unit of defence, I think the whole team's defended much better, and that's helped us as well.
And just finally from me, I'm sure you are occasionally turning your mind to the transfer market, with it being so close to January. Are there targets, and do you think they will be the difference between staying up and going down, or is it too simplistic to say that?
I think maybe it's a bit too simplistic. I think I think there's areas of our squad where we're a little bit light. So yeah, I think obviously that's an area which we probably need to try and improve. And if we can do that, then and get that help, then perfect. January is a difficult window, and I think we all realise that. So we'll have to see a bit nearer the time now on how January pans out and what's realistic and what isn't.
Cheers, Scott. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, James. Emma Jones, BBC London.
Hello, Scott.
Hey,
Is now a good time or a bad time to be playing Tottenham, considering their current form?
I think it's like anything. I don't think it's just Tottenham. It's any team who are probably on a little bit of a dip, or results have not gone too well. It can work both ways, Emma, really. I suppose it can work in a way that you're playing against a bit of a wounded animal, in the sense that they need a result and things will turn, and you need to be very alert at that and realise that. And at the same time, can you add that little bit of pressure? Can we make it uncomfortable at times in the game? And because so I think it works both ways, really, and I think we need to have half an eye on both sides of it. We need to understand we're playing against an exceptionally good team, a squad of players here, which are, I was there for a short time as an under-18s coach, and everything about the football club is top class in terms of training facilities, the squad they've got. It's a top squad, and we need to be fully aware of that. With also understanding that, like you said, there might be an opportunity for us to try and get something.
As you say, you have links to Tottenham. I wondered if this was a particular match that you were looking forward to in terms of being a Premier League manager going to Spurs.
I am looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to going back there. I spent 3 years at Spurs as a player, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I had a brilliant rapport with the fans, and obviously then went back there as developing the younger players. So I'm looking forward to going back, obviously as a manager of a team now, I am looking back to see some faces, familiar faces, and faces what obviously I can spend a lot of time with.
You've been drawing games. Turning drawing into winning, how tough is that?
Well, I think we certainly, I realise, we can try and get some of these draws into wins, the fine margins. I've looked through all this season and the fine margins of this league. And again, at this moment, with Southampton, there's a couple of big chances that, and the same for them, the same for Southampton, they're 2 disallowed. Brighton, I remember Ruben threw on goal. It's just them fine margins. I'm glad we're giving ourselves a chance to win football matches at the moment. And that's been a massive improvement for us, something which we wasn't able to do early on in the season. And we was having to score 2-3 goals. And when you're Fulham and when you're us, we're not going to be able to do that, to be honest with you. And I think what's pleased me the most is over the last 6 or 7 games, we're in game constantly. We look a real threat, a real threat. Still creating a lot of chances, a lot of shots on goal. And we're still in games, but the fine margins are that they've probably not just gone our way at certain moments, and that's the difference. But there's no hiding that we want to try and turn some of these draws into wins, and the way we're playing suggests that we definitely can do that. And hopefully that's the next step. We took a massive leap and a massive step from where we were, and we've improved drastically. Like anything, and like me, I'm always wanting to get better, and the team want to get better. Can we now get some of these draws into wins? And in this league and where we are, you've got to jump quick, and you ain't got time. As quickly as you've improved something else, you then need to move on to the next thing. You think, right, okay, you need to try and look at this without probably neglecting the stuff what's got you into this place. But certainly an area we're looking at.
And Fulham don't do well in London derbies. Is there a reason for that?
No, I didn't. I wasn't aware of that, but I'm sure you've got. You're fully aware of that, and so I wouldn't know why. To be honest with you, I used to love London derbies for what they were, it's not something what I feel holds any real regard. I don't know what the correlation will be. I don't really see it as a big factor, but like I say, a London derby is a London derby, certainly with the fans in the stadium even more so. I think you generate a real atmosphere and a real passion. You see the game for really what it is, and I still know different. It is what it is. So we'll see.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Emma. That completes the broadcast section. If we can go to the written press.